T36 News starts now.
Well, good evening and thank you for staying up late with us. I'm Paxton A. We begin with breaking news tonight. A man has been arrested in connection to a deadly shooting in Lexington. Lexington police say officers were called around 5 o'clock tonight in regard to an argument between two men on Delaware Avenue. On their way to the scene, officers received word that one of the men had been shot. That man was taken to the hospital where he later died. 29-year-old Luis Ramos has been arrested and charged with murder and using restricted ammunition during the commission of a crime, along with other unrelated warrants. Ramos is being held in the Fayette County Detention Center. So far, the name of the victim has not yet been released as the investigation continues. Well, a beautiful start to the week continues. That fall-like air sticking around on what's been a very pleasant Tuesday evening, TG.
Yeah, absolutely, Paxton. Stepped outside this evening and it kind of felt a little cool, especially with that breeze. And the supermoon was out again. This was at daybreak earlier today. I see the supermoon going down, the sun coming up. Pretty nifty shot there from Cleve Wheatley over in Taylor County. A few higher clouds drifting into western Kentucky, but super duper dry air mass in place, of course. Checking out downtown Mount Sterling in front of the Montgomery County Courthouse, already down to 54. The winds are lightening up, so we're going to have a decent setup for radiational cooling, meaning what little bit of warmth we have at the surface is easily lost into space. And you see already temperatures out in eastern Kentucky in the mid-50s. We're at 61 here in Lexington. Elsewhere, generally in the 50s, and those dew points super duper low, upper 40s and low 50s. You just don't see that this time of the evening in August. And with high pressure sitting over the western Great Lakes and that bit of a northeast flow, you see a lot of the Ohio Valley dealing with unseasonably cooler temperatures. So the rest of the overnight, it's going to be nice and quiet. Should be right around the 50-degree mark in the morning. Outlying areas in the upper 40s. Our record low is 49 here in Lexington. We've got a shot to tie it, and if we do get into the upper 40s, that'll be the first time in 20 years in August. We've had an early morning low in the 40s, and then tomorrow afternoon, similar to today. But we will see temperatures few degrees better, but that's going to feel great. Enjoy it because the heat not far off. I'll tell you about it in your 7-day forecast coming up.
Well, a judge granting a protective restraining order filed by one Lexington City Councilwoman against another today. As a result, one of them can no longer attend meetings and must now work from home. ABC 36's Anna Medina breaks down that order and what it entails.
Councilmember Brenda Monarres absent during Tuesday's work session meeting.
I'm going to enter an order that respondents not to go to the office until the hearing.
The absence stems from an incident where Councilmember Denise Gray filed a protective restraining order against Councilmember Brenda Monarres. The order was upheld in court on Tuesday.
There is an emergency protective order in place to help her do that. And she is relieved by the fact that that order continues to be in place and in fact was strengthened this morning to make sure that her workplace is a safe place for her to continue doing her public work representing her constituents.
Monarres and Gray were not at the hearing, and Judge Tracy Brislin making changes to the way Monarres will attend meetings.
Respondent is going to work from home, so basically not go to the office.
The ruling states Monarres cannot come within 500 feet of Gray or her home. She will also be working from home and attending meetings virtually, at least until their next hearing. Emma Curtis, Monarres' opponent in November's election, reacting to the ruling.
Having this type of behavior alleged against a sitting council member is, quite frankly, unprecedented.
ABC 36 reached out in various ways to Monarres for comment, and we have yet to hear back. The next hearing is scheduled for October 16th. In Lexington, Anna Medina, ABC 36 News Now.
Well, the University of Kentucky will disband its Office for Institutional Diversity in response to questions from policymakers on whether the school has stifled political discussions. That's according to UK President Eli Capilouto. The action on campus comes after state lawmakers debated whether to limit diversity, equity, and inclusion practices at public universities. Republican supermajorities in the Kentucky House and Senate were unable to resolve differences on the issue before ending this year's session in April, but the matter has been expected to resurface when lawmakers reconvene early next year. In the school's preemptive action, units housed in the Shuttered Diversity Office will be shifted elsewhere on campus, including into a newly created Office for Community Relations. That's according to President Capilouto in a campus-wide email. Capilouto says the restructuring will not result in job losses. Well, Floyd County Schools sending a letter to parents on Tuesday after a person who was not a student was led onto a school bus. Superintendent Larry Hammond says the incident happened on Tuesday when a driver mistakenly thought the person was a new student. The bus was under the supervision of adult staff at the time, and the person showed no disruptive behavior. The police were called once they realized that person was not a student. Prestonsburg City Police responding quickly, taking that individual into custody with no issues. Well, Kentucky State Police have arrested a second suspect in connection to a moped crash that killed a 10-year-old girl in Whitley County. That crash happening on August 4th along I-75 in Whitley County. KSP says Darius Wade is charged with operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol and murder. Meanwhile, the girl's mother, Wade's girlfriend, Denisha Martin of Lexington, is charged with complicity to commit murder. KSP first was called around 11:20 Sunday night to an accident involving two vehicles. Wade was allegedly driving the moped with the 10-year-old girl as a passenger when they were hit by a car. Both Martin and Wade are being held in the Whitley County Detention Center. A man has been arrested in connection to a shooting that happened last week in Lexington. Lexington police say 32-year-old Javante Briscoe was arrested today after police used flock license plate readers to identify him. Briscoe is now charged with assault, possession of a handgun by a convicted felon, possession of marijuana, and possession of a controlled substance. As we've reported last Thursday, police responded to a call on Glenarvin Avenue near Georgetown Street for a report of a shooting. When police arrived at the scene, they found a man who had been shot. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Well, the man who allegedly shot 3 people, killing 2 of them outside the Hardin County Courthouse on Monday morning, has died. Investigators say the incident happened around 9 a.m. yesterday when 46-year-old Christopher Elder shot 3 people at the courthouse in Elizabethtown while all 3 were there for a domestic hearing involving an emergency protective order. Officials say Elder killed the woman he was dating, 37-year-old Erica Riley of Elizabethtown, and her mother, 71-year-old Janet Riley of Hardinsburg. Police say he also shot a man related to the victims who's reportedly in stable condition. Investigators say Elder shot them ambush style in the parking lot before that hearing. After the shooting, Elder fled the scene. Officials say they followed him as he drove to Western Kentucky, about 100 miles away. They say he shot himself after a 90-minute standoff with police. He was airlifted to a hospital in Tennessee where he later died from his injuries. Well, Democrats looking to set the tone for the future of the party with the second night of the Democratic National Convention. Chicago's hometown president, Barack Obama, delivering a forceful endorsement. Brian Abel brings us the highlights as former President Donald Trump's message in response.
The next president. During night 2 of the DNC, Democrats unified in their support for nominee Vice President Kamala Harris.
So let's elect Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and a Democratic majority in the Senate and keep the torch of freedom burning bright.
Kamala Harris's vision for the economy serves us all.
Trump is rich in only one thing: stupidity.
And a Trump administration alum, Republican Stephanie Grisham, arguing why former President Trump shouldn't be reelected.
He has no empathy, no morals, and no fidelity to the truth. He used to tell me, "It doesn't matter what you say, Stephanie. Say it enough and people will believe you."
While Harris skipped night 2 to campaign in Milwaukee,
together we will chart a new way forward. A future for freedom.
Trump in Michigan Tuesday, faulting Harris for the Biden administration's response to immigration.
Millions and millions of people are pouring into our country through a border that's unchecked, unvetted. They're coming from all over, and it's a serious problem. She has caused us a tremendous problem.
Back in Chicago, Harris's chief advocate, Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff, sharing why the Kamala Harris he knows is who to vote for in November.
Wherever she's needed, however she's needed, Kamala rises to the occasion.
In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
Well, still to come, Americans are set to hit the road for the upcoming Labor Day holiday. We'll take a look at the numbers. And how much could it cost you for a limited edition can of Doritos? Well, the price tag might be out of this world. We'll explain straight ahead.
Well, just a fantastic Tuesday across central and eastern Kentucky. A little early touch of fall, and it looks like more of the same heading into the midweek. Your Storm Team forecast is next.